So about 2 weeks ago, DICE released an article on their Battlefield website stating all the changes that are being made post closed alpha and that the open beta will arrive in early September, but that's not all. The article went on to say, in the closed alpha we gave you the chance to call in 2 of several squad reinforcements of Battlefield 5, the Churchill crocodile tank and the V1 rocket. Now that clearly states that there will be a number of squad reinforcements available at launch, and perhaps we'll even get faction specific reinforcements. DICE have also mentioned that secret weapons of World War II will be included in Battlefield 5, and it now seems most likely that we'll get our hands on them through squad reinforcements. So I thought I'll list 5 potential squad reinforcements that could make it into Battlefield 5. Starting off the list, we have the Oka. The Oka was a rocket-powered, human-guided kamikaze aircraft used by Japan against Allied ships towards the end of World War II. It could reach up to 650 miles per hour in a dive and deliver 2,600 pounds of destruction to any ship it made contact with. US sailors were utterly terrified of these rocket-powered kamikaze aircrafts and gave the aircraft the nickname Baka, which translates into fool or idiot. The flying bomb was usually carried underneath a carrier plane to within range of its target. However, later versions were designed to be launched from coastal air bases, caves and submarines. So if it's added to Battlefield 1, it could either be launched from a carrier plane that could be countered and vulnerable to other planes, or it could be launched from base, ultimately giving the player live control of the missile at the cost of his or her own life. The second potential squad reinforcement is the Russian Anti-Tank Dogs. During World War II, when Russians were being overwhelmed on the Eastern Front, the Red Army took to desperate measures and started using dogs as weapons. Russian dog mines would be trained to run up to tanks and crawl underneath them in order to earn food. Days before battle, the Russians would starve the dogs and then release them on the tanks. A lever attached to the rig would strike the bottom of the tank as the dog dived underneath, causing it to detonate. A single anti-tank dog would have carried 25 pounds of explosives, and Russia trained upwards of 40,000 dogs, claiming 300 German tanks to have been destroyed or damaged. In the end, German soldiers would shoot any dog on sight, and that's perhaps what will happen in Battlefield 5 if it's introduced as a squad reinforcement. The third squad reinforcement is the Goliath track mine. While the Russians were busy training dogs to deliver their tank stopping charges, the Germans took a more moral approach, let's say. The result was a mini RC tank that carried more than 200 pounds of explosives. The Goliath was a foot tall and 4 feet long, with tracks that allowed it to scale the walls of trenches with a top speed of 6 miles per hour. It was controlled by a joystick connected to 3 long cables, and more than 7,000 Goliaths were produced in the end. However, the loud gas engine meant Allied forces could easily locate the Goliaths before they found their way to their targets. Deactivating them was easily done by cutting the control wires, so balancing them into Battlefield 5 wouldn't seem hard at all. The fourth potential squad reinforcement is the Fritz X. The Fritz was a radio-guided armor-piercing anti-ship bomb that weighed just over 3,000 pounds. It was the world's first guided weapon to sink a ship in combat, but could be used against ground targets as well. The Fritz operated on a joystick radio command system and provided to be highly successful in combat, taking out several battleships and heavy cruisers in the Mediterranean in 1943. Namely the Italian battleship Roma, the American light cruiser Savannah, and the Royal Navy HMS Uganda were all victims of the deadly Fritz. And lastly, we have the Silverbird. The Silverbird was a rocket-powered suborbital bomber produced in the late 1930s. intended to be used as an extreme long distance bomber capable of carrying a 8,000 pound bomb. With a unique surveillance system, the Silver Bird was immune from being detected and shot down. But while it seemed like the ultimate weapon, it was far too advanced for its time. Technical difficulties from overheating caused the prototype to fail, and eventually the project was put on hold to save resources. But that doesn't mean we won't see it in Battlefield 5. So those are the 5 potential squad reinforcements we may get to see in Battlefield 5. Let me know which ones you would like to see make it into Battlefield 5, or if you have any of your own. Leave a like, share your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.